Alright, so what you just saw was a short street running demo. I have the actual cobblestones laid in here. Still have some work to do on them yet. They have to be weathered. Unfortunately, I had to do a little bit of sanding on them, as you can tell by the white dust, which is still there. When I put the track in there, the outer edges were a little bit too high, and they were rubbing on the cars and also on the engine. So I had to sand that down a little bit. There's still detail of the cobblestones in there, which you can see. So you know, I didn't sand any of the detail off, but they're now just a little bit shorter. The interior pieces are fine. The dust that you see on those is probably dust from the outside. But anyway, I think it's going to turn out pretty well once I get it all weathered and finished. And what I wanted to show you here, if I can get zoomed in, this is one of those little blocks of wood. Let me show you what they look like beforehand. It's just a little block of wood. I think it's, you know, somewhere between 3/8 and 1/2 inch. They're different sizes, but you know, they're all pretty close in size, but they're not all exact. So what I did with this is I just took, you know, the bare block of wood, and I painted it a khaki color, which I think it's actually Rust-Oleum camouflage, the tan piece. And then to represent the strapping, I just took a ballpoint pen, and for my fellow Southerners, that's an ink pen, and just traced lines around the edge. I just held a block of wood like this, you know, somewhere like 1/8 of an inch away, and then just traced along the edge and went the whole way around. So what I've got on this one is 4 straps, you know, and I tried to not make them exact, because if you've ever seen a strapped Gaylord, they're never 100% vertical. But what my plan for this is, and I think you saw it in the little running video, is to sit it on the flat car behind the heavy equipment to represent, you know, spare parts or whatever else they may ship along with the equipment itself. I haven't put anything on the flat car yet as far as tie downs. My thought there is I've got some, they're close to probably 1/8 of an inch, between a 1/16 of an eighth and an 1/8 square pieces of wood, and I'm going to put one behind the back wheels and one in front of the front wheels here, just to keep it from rolling back and forth. I may also just see if I can find some chain that I could paint black or maybe a rust color and put on there to simulate hold downs. So, but anyhow, that's what I've been working on. Back over here in the corner is I'm going to call it Sage Mountain for right now. I had some of that sage green paint, which you can see is part of the hillside there on the backdrop, and I just covered the mountain in sage green to get rid of the white. And you know, obviously it looks pretty awful right now, but once I get the ground cover on there, it'll be alright. Some of the rocks as well, you can see there's a little bit of sage green on there, but that's okay. I mean, it'll look like moss or something else, and obviously I'll detail those like I did the church scene. Let's see. Oh, one other thing that I neglected to talk about the other night, and we're back over here at the end of the layout where the engine yard or the engine house is. I'm just moving some bricks right now. I found some cork, and I got this at Hobby Lobby. You can see the color of regular cork right here, and obviously this is the Roadbed. They have cork in, and I don't know if you can tell on the video or not, but this has various colors of green mixed in with the natural cork, and it looks a lot like dirt with you know, some small plants in it. And you get 4 of these for $10. However, if you go to Hobby Lobby and on your cell phone just dial up the Hobby Lobby weekly coupon, there's a 40% off coupon there, and it applies to any item that's not already on sale. So I got 40% off at 10, so I got 4 of these sheets for $6, which is, I don't know, $1.50 a sheet, I guess. So anyhow, I've put one in down here at the end of the intermodal yard. Let's see what else. Oh, I was about to pitch my DCC system the other day and go back to DC and just forget all this DCC crap. The reason being, I had 2 decoders, one for this Burlington SD40 and one for my Rio Grande back there, which the Rio Grande I had the decoder in it for probably a year. I mean, I ran it on my other layout, and about a month ago that one failed. So I bought another one because I knew I was going to need one for the Burlington, and I also knew that Digitrax, which is the decoder, has a no questions asked refund or replacement policy, not a refund policy. As long as you provide them the sales receipt and it's within a year, they'll send you a new decoder. So to make a long story short, I got the new decoder for the Rio Grande, the one that was working, the one that wasn't working, and I received a brand new one, stuck it in the Burlington, and it immediately started going in reverse without the throttle being on. So that kind of had me stumped. I took the decoder out of the Burlington. I thought maybe it was defective. I put it in the Rio Grande. Exactly the same thing happened. So I sent the defective one and the one that was going in reverse only back to Digitrax, and I received 2 replacements, exactly the same thing. So I don't know if they were replacements or if they thought they repaired them. Nothing against Digitrax, but you know, I'm just telling you the truth here. I got the one back, I stuck it in the Rio Grande, nothing happened. I stuck it in the Burlington, nothing happened. I put the other one in, the other decoder in the Burlington, immediately goes in reverse. Pull it out of there, stuck it in the Rio Grande, immediately goes in reverse. So, you know, I was just really frustrated because, I don't know, you know, maybe they put it on a test stand and, you know, it looked fine to them, but it sure doesn't work well. I have another Digitrax decoder in this Western Pacific, which you've seen running. I mean, it works fine. So, you know, I tended to think it was my DCC system at first, but since that decoder in the Western Pacific works, you know, I guess it's not. I'm also able to pull the one that's in the Western Pacific out and place it in the Burlington, and it works fine in there. So, you know, I guess I'm down to the fact that they maybe just sent me the same ones back. I can't imagine them doing that, but I have nothing else to base that on other than, you know, same results. So I've got them packaged up again, and I'm returning them for replacement again. So all that being said, you know, I'm gonna wait until I get those back. If I still see the same results, you know, I don't know. I may be done with Digitrax. I may try something else, TCS, or I don't know. All right, so enough about my trials and troubles. What else have I done, if anything, since the last update? I don't think there's anything. You know, painted the mountain, put in the street running, and got frustrated and glued the cork down. I think that's it. I've run, one other thing. This is not really a layout related topic as far as construction, but I've decided that I kind of like switching more than what I thought I did. The way I've got the tracks laid out, there are several opportunities for runaround tracks and passing tracks. There's obviously over here in the intermodal yard, there's the main line going down the left side. Then there's the first track, which is going to be part of the unloading area. And then there's the second track here, which runs down the end and connects back up with the middle line and also the main line. So I've got kind of two passing sidings there. And then back over here on the area of the lumber yard, obviously there's a siding that runs through the building and connects back up with the main line over here. So that's a passing siding and a runaround track. Right here, this is part of my crossover, and it's long enough to accommodate two longer cars, maybe three shorter cars. So, you know, I can kind of place cars there if I'm trying to switch. And then because I've got this crossover, which comes back in here, you know, and then down there to the other turnout, I've got plenty of opportunity to run around and switch. So the other night, just for fun, I had a bunch of cars sitting around. I had a couple of hoppers in the grain facility. I had 2 or 3 cars sitting on the siding here. And I had all of my wood chip cars on this siding here. You don't worry, the town's not going there. It's just out of the way here of my street running. But so anyway, what I did is I put the locomotive on the track over here by the yard, and I said, well, you know, let's see how long it takes me to build a train. And I had a caboose, which is the only one I've got right now, the Rio Grande back there. So I said, well, let's take the locomotive and take the caboose, and let's go build a train. So by going around the layout and doing crossovers and runarounds and everything, I was able to place the caboose on the end of the train, you know, build it together, and then put the engine on the front, actually facing the right way. So, you know, for me, that's a big achievement, you know. I mean, for somebody that's never switched a lot before. I mean, I had one sidetrack before. You can't really switch with that, so... All right, so there's another one of those painted Gaylords with no strapping, and let me just show you this. It's really easy to do as far as putting the strapping on. So what I did is I took the we're getting a little bit of reflection from my lights here. I apologize for that. I just took another one of these blocks, set it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and then just ran a pen around the edge. As I was about to say, I took one of the blocks, and chip filled up on my cell phone here. I was out of space. So I just put it here, and then I trace around it with the pen. And on this one, I'm just going to put 2 straps around. So, you know, really simple to do. You could use a Sharpie, you know, anything you want, but you know, you get that set down on the loading dock there, and from, you know, a couple of feet away, it looks pretty good. And I've got some of them. I think I painted a half a dozen of them. I've got a couple of them sitting over here, you know, next to the building with no strapping on. It would be very easy to take some decals and put on there. You know, some plastics decals, you know, plastic vendor decals. You know, any kind of labeling that you would find on packaging. You know, you can just stick on those. And then I've got a couple of them sitting over here next to the lumber yard. So, you know, I may take some of my Weyerhaeuser decals, like I stuck on the side of the truck here, and you know, just take the insignia and not the lettering that says warehousing on it. Just take the triangle, you know, and stick it on the side. Anyway, something work for a rainy day, I guess. Well, I don't. This video is pretty long right now, so I'm going to call it a day. And I think probably the next project, as I make you dizzy here swinging around, is going to be to start doing ground cover on all of the plaster cloth painted areas. So until then, hope everyone has a good day, a good week, and I'll see you next time.